So Anthony, when I'm talking and teaching about wine, I often use these ideas of traditional to talk about the European mindset of winemaking, and modern when I'm talking about those California styles. And I'd like to explain for people a little bit what that means in the glass.
Tradition for me is bound in the wines of Europe that are absolutely cooler climate wines made to be drunk with food. It's even today when I visit my wife's family in Sicily, they don't drink wine at 11 in the morning when they're opening the mail, or 3 in the afternoon because they feel like it. It's lunchtime wine, dinner wine, and then digestivi afterwards. So we're talking about higher acid, cooler climate, earthier, less fruit, and Americans love fruit. I mean, we're married to that idea of the wine having to be ready now, versus and by itself. We don't care that we want to drink with food. It doesn't have to go with food though.
Right.
And the modern style, for me, encompasses much more ripeness and juiciness and fruit, more ready to drink now without food.
Right.
Versus,
So that helps us understand a little bit why so many of the classic wine styles are a bit of an acquired taste, in the sense that they perhaps aren't even really designed to be tasted alone by themselves. They're designed to be like a sauce on the side with the dish.
Exactly. And this is why I beg people to always give wine a second chance with fat. I say like with oil, with butter, with any food. But even if it's a handful of peanuts or a potato chip, but most Americans might pick up a glass of like this Chianti, one sip, and it's dry and nutty and woody, a little bit bitter almost, and they say no thank you. And I'm like, but now have it along something completely Tuscan, a beautiful wild boar sauce on pasta, and it explodes.
Seems like it used to be a firmer boundary between Old World and New World, and that nowadays it's getting a little bit more spread out.
Today, with so many winemakers studying at UC Davis to learn about wine or learn about the science of wine in an American institution, and then take it back to Europe, you're seeing European winemakers using a lot of the same things that we were using here, trying to be more progressive, but in fact we're melding all the styles.
And the reverse is also true. I talk to a lot of winemakers in California who are choosing to make their wines more food oriented.
Right, so like those boutique California wines that we'll pay a lot of money for are no surprise. Cool climate, high altitude, expensive real estate. But it's harkening back to that European model of cool climate, eminently better with food than by itself.
And this idea of kind of a style spectrum between the old world traditional and new world modern thing also changes a little bit when we get to the more value priced wines from Europe as well, because aren't they very much looking at the American market and the American palate as the inspiration for their styles?
Exactly. So they're absolutely juicy and ready to drink when you open them. They certainly taste great with food, but they're ready to drink without food too.
In the wine business, I often see this referred to as international style, and now I know why.
Exactly.